Hello, welcome to another edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Dakbo Aruwajoye. Today on the program, a Supreme Court orders appeal court to hear Jagede's appeal. And Shekau tops list of 55 Boko Haram terrorists declared wanted by the federal government. I'll be joined by Wahid Bakare, Olayinka Oyegbile, and Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Our Journalist Hangout starts now. On November the 18th, the Court of Appeal adjourned a judgment in the appeal filed by the substituted governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Itayo Jagede, indefinitely. About 4 days to the governorship election in Ondo State, the table has turned. Earlier today, the Supreme Court ordered the Court of Appeal to resume hearing of the case. Itayo Jagede wanted the court to overturn the judgment disqualifying him as the flag bearer of the PDP. As Nigerians count down to the election, the PDP is busy fighting a battle within. Will Itayo Jagede eventually emerge as the party's candidate? That's a big question and one I'll be asking this gentleman today. Wahid Bakare, thank you very much for joining us again. Olayinka Oyegbile, thank you also. And Babajide Kolade Otitoju. It's been a very long time. Yes. We've missed you.
Yes. I had to rest.
I know you look refreshed. So good to have you. Let me start with you because a lot has been happening. I know you've been observing out there. Ondo State seems to it's going to be very, very interesting on those states. Yes. And what is your own interpretation of what happened today and what will happen tomorrow? Because I believe the hearing, the case will be heard tomorrow. What do you think is going on and what can go on soon?
Yes, the good thing that the Supreme Court has done today is to not allow itself to be used to muddle the political waters in Ondo State. The way the Alimodu Sheriff faction, especially the man that I nicknamed the corporate virus, Jimo Ibrahim, because of the incompetence he has demonstrated in running big companies entrusted in his care. The way they've gone about this whole thing all along had been to just ensure that justice is not served, that justice is delayed such that the election would have taken place before any form of justice can take place. Look at what they did the first time when they were called for the dissolution of the appeal panel. They were so wicked. They were so unfeeling in describing one of the justices on the appeal panel as someone very ill. And they claimed that the appeal panel had been bribed.
Yes.
That because the appeal panel had been bribed, it wanted accelerated hearing. For God's sake, when did it become an offense or something wrong to have accelerated hearing? When you know that a date had already been set for the election. What is wrong in having accelerated hearing? For that, because the appeal court demonstrated an interest to hear the case on time, yes, they accused the judges of having been bribed without proof. They accused them of having been bribed, and that woman, the justice, was accused of trying to use the money that had been paid to her, yes, as bribe to take care of her ill health. I thought that was thoroughly unfeeling and thoroughly wicked and unconscionable on the part of Jimo Ibrahim and his people. It got so bad that Alex Izinyon, one of the best lawyers in Nigeria today, who was Jimo's lawyer, had to withdraw from the case because he was mortally embarrassed by the shameful manner that they went about this matter. I mean, why should democracy be reduced to such a joke in Nigeria?
But the people argue that's a common thing amongst politicians. That's the way they roll. How will I put it?
No. I've never heard where politicians went to the extent that they went, to the point of I mean, ridiculing a judge who was ill. Tell me if you've ever heard about that.
They even almost embarrassed the INEC state record.
Remember, yes, when Jimo accused him of asking for bribe.
Yes, said he was going to sue him.
You say we just want this whole thing to end, so that we can have our lives back, so that the embarrassment that Jimo and some of these people are constituting can end. Let's have an election. The Americans had an election recently. Yes. Nobody was talking about courts. Nobody was accusing a judge of being ill, of looking for money to take care of herself. Let's have this election. If the PDP were to be a serious party, Alimodu Sheriff wouldn't even have emerged in the first place. He wouldn't have emerged. They were serenaded by Alimodu Sheriff's money, his a private jet and all that. They didn't think about the fact that this man lacks the capacity to lead. Now you can see where Alimodu Sheriff has led them. Somebody with that kind of past, you entrusted the leadership of your party in his hands. And now,
it's boomeranging.
Now things are boomeranged. You are now looking for a way to brush him aside. But it's not working. What we want to see, I'm happy with what the judgment today. Let the appeal go on.
Okay.
There's no big deal. The judgment can come within 48 hours.
Okay. We'll talk about what could happen.
Judicial terrorism that some people have perfected, whereby they ensure that no matter how good your case is, that you don't get justice in good enough time, must end in our country. That's what we want to see. Let that judgment come. Let's know who will go to the election.
I like that judicial terrorism. We'll look at another angle to that later in the course of this discussion. But what is your own interpretation of this judgment and what could happen? The permutations.
Well, like Jide rightly said, let me also seize this opportunity to welcome him back. Like he rightly said, you need to listen to that judge. When she wanted to hand over the case back to the president of the Court of Appeal, so that she could reassign the case to another judge, having been accused of, trying to. You could feel the pain of that woman. That's it, because I'm sick. You now went to the extent of saying, I'm desperate, whatever money I'm giving, I will collect because of the fact that I'm battling one ailment or the other. You don't have to go to that extent. And we have always said this times with that number here, that, for there to be a corrupt judge, there must be a corrupt lawyer. In most cases, you hardly see a client, walking up to a judge to offer bribe. In most cases, it has to be through the lawyer. What effrontery will you have to say you want to walk up to a judge in the inner chamber and talk to? We all know that this thing are being perpetrated by the lawyers. And like what happened today, when I read the way the judges, the justice of the Supreme Court, tongue lashed that lawyer, that Jimo Ibrahim lawyer, I was so happy. Because you came with a frivolous application, and the first question the CJN asked was that, look, the proceeding that you are even challenging, why didn't you attach it to your paper?
I think they're meant to pay some certain amount.
Of course, they have to pay. They have to pay for wasting the time.
But it's just a pittance, 200,000 or so.
From what I gather, I think the money, the whole money will be up to 6 million naira. Because I learned that 250,000,
500,000 each to the respondents, and then there is a fine of 500,000. 1 million. To the lawyer.
No, it's a good development. That will also, in a way, meet lawyers who have formed the habit of coming to court with all manners of frivolous applications, because they know that there are judges. Once you are able to offer bribe, they will grant your application. That's why they keep running. But unfortunately for them, they've met a brick wall in the Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court today, it's a good development for the development of judiciary.
The acting
CJN, Walter.
How are we going to ever be able to constitute a panel? If every time a panel is constituted, you accuse
the panel of one thing or the other.
Because you succeeded with the first one. The second one, you said they should just disqualify them. No.
For the ordinary people.
Funny people.
Yes, I know. They want to understand what this judgment is about. What's the fate of Electoral now in all this?
Well, I don't want us to say Eureka yet, because what will happen now is that I know what everybody is expecting is that he may likely be declared as the candidate or the rightful candidate for the PDP. But the argument that has been laid down before, as we have seen, the argument is so much against the party that is making the argument. So
I didn't get that. Simplify.
I mean, the Jima Ibrahim faction or the Jima Ibrahim team, as my two other colleagues have said, if you look critically at the case they have been bringing forward, all they have been saying is just to find a way to muddle up all the case and then allow the election to take place.
And afterwards?
With Jima Ibrahim as the candidate. And if the pendulum swings in his direction, they will now claim
victory.
Claim victory. That is exactly what they are working for. But now, with this judgment, the appeal court, I don't envy them now because they have very limited time. INEC has already declared that it is not ready to shift the election.
Yes, election.
So, and the good thing about it is that on the ballot paper, it is
the party
that is there, not the candidate.
Okay.
So, whichever way it goes,
it favors the PDP.
It's still the same party.
Okay.
But what I want us to look at critically is that
what?
As they have said, we must make sure that party elections, primaries and so on, are concluded well ahead of time, so that we don't continue to go in this kind of
court cases.
And then when it results to court case,
that takes us to this short break.
Okay.
When we'll come back, we'll continue. Do stay with us, please. Welcome back. You're still watching Journalist Hangout. And I was going to let you land.
Yes.
You were about to land before
as I was saying, what our judges must learn is that when such cases come, it should be heard post-haste. I mean, there's no
delay.
Reason for them to delay. So if all the evidences have been given, the judgment you are going to give in 3 weeks is the same thing perhaps you are going to give in 2 days. All you need to do is to spend sleepless nights and look at the evidences that have been presented and give your judgment.
Even the presidential election that was held in the U.S., there were cases in court.
Exactly.
So
that we don't continue on the eve of election, we now say, okay, the candidate is this, the candidate is that. No. Okay. It makes the water to be muddled up and people get confused. Okay.
All right, then, because confusion, a lot of confusion, really. Jide, maybe you try and help us out here. What is going to happen now if if the judgment says Electoral is a candidate? Now, that will be around tomorrow, and Thursday will be the last day for campaigns. Yeah. And what will happen to the ballot papers? I know that will still be PDP. There should be, what will happen generally? Will everything change?
I don't think that it will make so much difference. Even this last election, 2015, the PDP candidate, governorship candidate in Borno State, he marched less than 48 hours to the presidential election. So if the election were originally to be held the same time as the presidential election, that guy would have had to contest without having enough time to prepare.
Yes.
You see? So, but you know, the ballot paper will show the logo of the party. Which is the PDP in this case. I don't think that Jagede will have so much to lose. Before this crisis blew open, he had campaigned so much, because I was in Akure last month, and his posters were everywhere, was the most dominant candidate in terms of visibility in the state. He was the most dominant candidate. People like okay, began to come into the whole election thing later, after the setback and the rancorous primaries of the APC. You know, but you will see clearly that the misfortune of Jegede has afforded Olushola the opportunity to garner so much support. Because right now, it is clear that Olushola everywhere that he goes, large crowd. I was reading somewhere that where he was accused of having bought people, you know, just lies. People, civil servants, different categories of people are flocking to him. Some of the people who are already losing hope, if in that Jegede can bounce back, they are going in his direction. Yes, because
it's like an alternative, or what?
No, protest, anger. It happened in even in Kano in 1992. When the choice, the candidate of Rimi and Sule Lamido, you know, did not emerge. In anger, they voted for the NRC. That was how Kabiru Gaya, who is now in the Senate, that was how he became governor of Kano. Kabiru Gaya would never have even won probably his ward. But because of the crisis, Rimi and Sule Lamido wanted to show Yaradua, the senior Yaradua, that look, you may be very strong and a fantastic tactician when it comes to politics, but in Kano, we rule Kano. So they taught him an exemplary lesson. They got their supporters to vote for the NRC, and the NRC won the election easily. So it will always happen in our country, where there is crisis within your own party and you fail to reach out to aggrieved parties, you fail to resolve the crisis. Chances are that you will pay for that on election day.
Because the way
has garnered so much support in the last few weeks.
And it seems the AD in Ondo State does not have like a friction going on.
No, they can't have friction.
Unlike
APC and the PDP. You see, they don't. Those are the things working for him. And people have, I think many people have given up that Jegede will not get it. But if he gets it, the entire complexion of the election will change again. To change again. So it's a very fluid situation. It's a very fluid, very dicey situation. But politicians are to blame for this. Every year, you know, even the issue of what's it called?
Mahmoud?
No, in the last election,
they
almost at the last minute there was a suit against the
voters card.
No, this machine.
The PVC
card reader. At the last minute.
It
was the court ruled that no, they can use the card reader. So we always find a way to bring court cases at the last minute.
Mahmoud, good evening. You're calling from Lagos.
Yeah, good evening.
How are you?
Yeah, fine. Today you're welcome back from your leave.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I know you're going to bring us a lot of good issues. I miss you so much.
Thank you.
So, but the issue of Ondo, it's only God that knows who is going to be the next one of them. For sure, PDP is going to lose. We are told APC is going to correct it again.
What did he just say?
It's all down to Mahmoud. Mahmoud, it's all down to how they are able to resolve their differences. You must reach out to aggrieved parties. Whether we like it or not, they are aggrieved parties. So how you reach out to them, the promises you make to them, how you convince them that, look, this is a government that will work for them, is what will determine what happens on election day. If you don't work hard enough on that, you may have problems on election day.
All right. Thank you so much, Mahmoud. Why did you hear that? Because how, with this short period now, some few hours to go, yes, how do you think the aggrieved ones can be appeased?
Well, politicians, they have a way of resolving issues if they are serious about it. You know, politics is about give and take. If you are bringing a lot of goodies to the table for the aggrieved people, you can be rest assured that, you know, they are likely to play along with you. So it now depends on whether those who have the ticket now, whether they are ready, they are ready and willing to, you know, to pacify the aggrieved party. Once they are able to do that, you know, they have a way of settling their scores, no matter how little the time is. But you know, like one of the last speakers said, I can't remember the exact person now. You know, there was also a friction in AD. But the beauty of it is that, you know, they were able to resolve it on time, and that has given them a lot of advantages in this Ondo State gubernatorial election.
Somebody even sued Olusola.
The person who even sued Olusola was the one that even came out to say, we have resolved it, no problem, he's now our candidate. And that's a plus for their candidate, you know, unlike the APC and the PDP candidate. You know, I foresee a situation whereby tomorrow, something tells me that it is very likely that the appeal court will be in favor of Jegede. If you read what the CJN, you know, said, if you look at it carefully, you know, we have something whereby he's saying you came with a lot of frivolous application, and the only judgment you are relying on is the one given by your judge. Your judge, if what I read was true, that's your judge, Okon. And this is the same judge that has been tongue-lashed in the past.
Yes.
You know,
by even the appeal court.
By the appeal court. And you know, the whole thing is that you have accused the initial panel of receiving bribe.
That one boils down to that. We'll still talk about that judicial terrorism.
The second one too. You are not saying that we don't have faith in you. Yes. And the CDN said, look, it is ridiculous that you, as a senior advocate of Nigeria, you are coming with this kind of application. I don't even deem it fit to attach the proceeding of the court.
Yes,
you are complaining about. So on what ground are we going to attend to you?
Napoleon, good evening. Napoleon, good evening. Sorry I held you for a while. Oh, okay. Maybe you try and call back then. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. As we round up, what do you think now? What's going to happen? People should, maybe all politicians, all party, all stakeholders, if I can use that word now, should remember that Ondo State is the antecedent. You remember 1983?
Ondo State is volatile state. Like the touchstone of whatever happened, what is going to happen in the Nigerian election. So for now, all we need to just appeal is that if politicians should be careful and know how they play their game, because it is not an exaggeration to say that whatever happens in Ondo State determines what happens in the politics of the Southwest, especially. And whatever happens in the politics of Southwest is what will dictate what will happen at the national level. So at this point, all we need to say is that we should thank the Supreme Court for stepping in at this point to make sure that things are resolved in a very good way. Okay, we need to go on another short break, and when journalist Hangout returns, I check out tops a list of 55 Boko Haram terrorists declared wanted. Details after this time out. Please stay with us. So welcome back. We just have to conclude the last segment before we go to the next one. Jide, what do you think Ondo election? Your last words, message to the people there, and even the politicians themselves.
Well, we have already seen signs of potential violence. Remember, Olusola Oke's posters, billboards have been destroyed by agents of violence in the state. And we've seen even Jegede's campaign office being attacked by gunmen. So I just hope that the people of Ondo State will calm down and refuse to be intimidated and refuse to resort to violence. Just as Goodluck Jonathan used to say, there is no politician's ambition that merits the shedding of blood. And the election in Ondo State should not merit the shedding of blood.
Okay. Wahid, what do you think?
Yes. Since this INEC leadership came on board, we have had series of inconclusive elections. And people have continued to blame the present leadership of INEC. But the question is it the INEC leadership that is responsible for the inconclusive election? No, it is the politician. By their attitude, you take to violence, they snatch ballot boxes, you run to court, bring in all manners of application, just to make sure you don't because you don't want the election to be held. You cannot really blame them. But my take is that, if you look at this present, since the advent of this present democracy, you ask yourself, what has the masses gained from this democracy compared to what the politicians are getting? The politician, without any doubt, they are the greatest beneficiary of this democracy. So it is only little that the masses are getting. So if by their action and attitude they truncate this democracy, I don't pray they do it. If they do it, they are going to be the
ones to lose.
They are going to be the ultimate loser.
Okay, all right, then. Thank you, gentlemen. You see, one terrorist that has been killed many times but still alive in Nigeria is Abubakar Shekau, a factional leader of Boko Haram. The Nigerian army had bragged about killing the terrorist again and again. It had shown pictures, but the dead man is still alive. And today, the same army has declared the dead Abubakar Shekau and 54 other insurgents wanted for various terrorist acts. This is the third time the army will declare some Boko Haram members wanted in war year. What does this mean? And let me start with your line again. What do you think? Because the dead Shekau has been declared wanted again. I think this is the first time I'm seeing a dead person declared wanted.
You see, it's either the army command is confused, or they are trying to set some agenda which we don't know about.
Maybe they're acting a plot,
a script or something. Because I remember clearly well that sometime back they showed a body when they said this is Shekau before he was killed, after he was killed, and they went so scientific and graphic about it that if you look at the smiles of the dead man and the one alive, you will notice that it is the same man that has been killed and all that. But now, how many months after, you are also declaring him wanted? What exactly is happening? I remember also that some time ago, I think it was DSS that said that Shekau had been killed,
yes,
and that the Shekau has become a franchise. That anybody that leads the group is now a Shekau. So is it the one that has been killed several times that they are now declaring wanted, or
a new Shekau?
A new one. Now, it makes you wonder, the most dangerous man in the world, Bin Laden, was killed once and for all. Why is it that our own Shekau, we cannot be sure for one that he has been killed? What is it that, as they said, because it has become a franchise, one dies, another one comes and takes off his space, and carries his name? What about the videos that are being shown? And the faces, the face that we are seeing looks exactly like the face of the one they said they've killed. I remember
they said they look alike. Maybe
either the last video or the one before the last one. They even analyzed that one, that if you look at it very well, the gesticulations were not as strong as it used to be, because he has been mortally wounded. Therefore, so what exactly is happening?
Okay, let me take that question to you. What exactly is happening? And millions of Nigerians want to find out this question. What is happening?
There was no time that Shekau was killed. No time.
So the army was just telling us.
There was no time that Abubakar Shekau was killed. No time.
So they have been telling us lies all this while.
So that's what
Well,
it looks like.
I don't like to call the army liars.
Maybe they tactically
But they know
tactically
that Shekau
doing something.
was not killed. I attended a seminar a few weeks back in Abuja, and the question came up. The question came up that you told us Shekau was dead. The army made no attempt
To deny.
to argue that Shekau, for a long time Shekau did not post any video.
Yeah.
That allowed for all kinds of speculation. But the
Shekau has not
moment,
posted for a while.
the moment the ISIS came out to say, look, this is the
Faction.
person, this is the person that we have appointed as our leader.
Yeah.
And they decided to appoint Mossab al-Banawi as the Boko Haram leader.
Replacement, yeah.
And Shekau began to fight back. At that point, it became clear to people that Shekau was not dead, because he was now asserting himself. The group that we negotiated with to bring out the Chibok girls, the 21 Chibok girls, is the Shekau faction.
This is of recent.
Yes, it's the Shekau faction that we negotiated with. So saying that Shekau was dead, his franchise is just empty gas. It is only Nigerians who believe everything that they read, without bothering to check, without bothering to investigate, that will believe those stories.
But eventually they've come to tell us the truth now that Shekau is still alive. Maybe they've come to refute that. I don't know how to put it.
The question to ask is, okay, the picture that was released,
the guy that was
did the
killed.
picture released not look like the
Shekau.
picture of the Shekau that you and I
Yes.
have been familiar with over the years? That's to tell you that they know that he's not dead. Look, the escalation of attacks on our troops,
Yeah.
Of
because
recent.
you were asking the question that what does this tell you? And I'm telling you now that the reason we've gone to the extent of coming out with 55 theories is because we are feeling the heat of the attacks by Boko Haram. When some of us said the war had not been won, even journalists were criticizing us. But we can see clearly now that the war has not been won. Because the war has not been won, and those guys have increased their attacks on our troops. For that reason now, we are under some pressure. Now we want the Nigerians to help us identify these guys so that we can finish them once and for all. Our soldiers have done a fantastic job. I was in Maiduguri, I was in Konduga, I was in Mafa. I can tell you that they've done a fantastic job. I respect them. But nothing will stop me from saying the truth.
Okay. All right then. Wahid, what do you think? Because apparently some critics will argue, even on the same program, that let's check the trend out. Afterwards, when these ladies were released, we saw that these attacks increased also. And some were saying maybe the girls, the ones they released out there, maybe potential terrorists, or maybe the federal government or people that negotiated with these people paid a whole lot of money for them to renew their strength. I think I put it well.
Well, there are different ways.
Or did they prisoner swap?
There are different. No, there is no prisoner swap. A lot of those prisoners don't even want to go back to Shekau. I'm telling you this. Some of them have been de-radicalized. Shekau is an extremely unstable person. He can kill you. He killed somebody because he bought a bicycle in army shit. Just, he can kill you for the flimsiest of reasons. So no prison, somebody who has been in prison, de-radicalized, they don't want to go back to the bush.
Is this Sadiq from Kaduna? Good evening, Sadiq.
Hello, good evening.
How are you?
Fine.
You're welcome. Your contribution, please.
Yeah, hello?
Your contribution, you're live.
Yes, I think Shekau issue.
Okay.
And some things are foreign.
Okay.
You see, the problem is not in military. The moment the commander is being said that the commander is dead, they want us that all the followers, the soldiers on ground, they will be supplied. That is the giving the military as duty. But we will make no in Nigeria, we make much alone. Automatically, what you are doing now Shekau is watching. Very soon now he will reply you.
Shekau is watching.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they have everything in Tanzania forest.
Okay.
Don't you think so?
Maybe.
They have generator and everything there.
We have
Yes.
solar panels, everything.
All right, and Sadiq, thank you so much for that, even that endorsement also. We need to go on a short break where we'll come back. Journalist Hangout continues. Welcome back, and I'll take it to Wahid now. The last question I was going to ask you then. So people are saying there should be a correlation between this renewed violence. Can I say renewed or increased violence against the Nigerian troops? And with the latest release of these girls, some are saying maybe money has exchanged hands, and that's why they have enough to spend to fight our people.
You see, I think one of the mistakes that the Nigerian army, is making over time is that they assume that this is a conventional war. It is not. When you are fighting terrorists, they can spring surprise at any time. That is why it is very important for you to be on your toes at all times. You must be at alert. I think it is more about sabotage. I think there are still some soldiers, some bad elements in the Nigerian army who are fond of, giving out information to the terrorists, which they capitalize on, to spring surprise. You will be wondering, why is it that of recent they have become so emboldened to the extent that they can lay ambush, for our soldiers. The other time they said about 3 soldiers were missing. Up to today, nobody has told us the exact position of things. And once you don't do that, you leave room for speculation. You can't blame people when they are speculating because you have not really communicated with the people on the true position of things. They should forget this propaganda. Propaganda will not win the war against the terrorists. Tell Nigerians the true position of things. It is a good thing that they are even coming out now, asking people to provide the necessary information so that they can get at this terrorists. On Shekau has become the proverbial cat, with 9 lives. The other time, Major General Lucky Rabo, the commander of the operation Lafia Adole, said the original Shekau had been killed. The one who also pretended to be Shekau had been killed. Another one came out to be. The impression they are giving is that it has become a generic name. Like Shekau has become a generic name. Whoever assumes the leadership position automatically becomes the new Shekau. But that is not true. That is not true. We know that
it's like a franchise.
Shekau has not been killed, and they know that he has not been killed. So why are you lying about it? When, like Oyebile rightly said, when what is his name now? Bin Laden was killed. We all saw it.
That was
we saw it, and ever since then, there is nothing like Bin Laden. Why is it different in our own case?
Okay, because since you mentioned Bin Laden and America. Really, because we need the help of people like America and some other countries. But of recent, we wanted to buy Chinook helicopters and Super Tucanos from another country, I forgot it now. Brazil, yes. And which are American-made helicopters or thereabout. But they refused, America refused that transaction to go through. And how do you think we can win this battle without their support? And can I quickly take Shegun? And I'll come to you. Shegun is calling from Lagos. Good evening, Shegun.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you very much for calling in.
Mr. Peter.
Good evening.
We really miss you on this program.
Thank you. I'm back now.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, it is unfortunate we have found ourselves in this kind of situation in this country. In politics, there is something we call faith and the game of deception. This is not pronounced with all these civilians, but it's quite unfortunate that we are finding this trend in our military formation. This same Sekara that we were told few months back that has been killed is still the same Sekara that they are being declared on dead. It is a funny scenario. And something serious has to be done about this issue before it gets out of hand.
Yes.
Thank
you so much, Shegun. And I did interrupt you.
Yeah.
I still don't know why, with all the friendliness and the friendship that exists between the United States of America and Nigeria, and every time the president meets his American counterparts, there is that mutual agreement and mutual understanding that we are going to help you to fight terrorism and all that. What exactly then is the undertone?
But the problem is, they said our human rights violation is getting out of hand. They're talking about the fight against terrorism, right?
Well,
generally. And some people are saying even the Dasuki that is still in detention is part of all these human rights.
Well,
Israel that they are selling weapons to.
What happened there?
Are they not?
Kill
See the way they treat Palestinians.
So, I mean, what I see there is just simple case of double standards. Because it is in the interests of America and in the interest of the world that we kill terrorism anywhere it is happening.
Once and for all.
Because, look, if you allow, that is why today Somalia is what it is. Because the world has allowed terrorism to fester there. And one thing about terrorism is that when it festers in a region or in a state, and you allow it to continue, it continues to look for ways to expand. And when it expands, it continues to grow. That is why ISIS is going the way it is going. If you look at the Al-Shabaab, it is the same thing. Boko Haram, it is the same. It was first of all a Nigerian affair.
Yes.
It got to Cameroon, it got to Mali, it got to Niger, and the rest of it. And that's how it is spreading. And America has interest in all these places. So it is in the best interest of the world, both America and Nigeria and everyone,
To come together
to make sure that this thing is nipped in the bud.
Okay, let me take that to Jide, because now the president-elect, talking of Donald Trump, what do you think? Apparently, you've heard much of his policies. I have a caller first. Yeah, right? From Lagos. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Yeah, hi, good evening. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to just talk about this present topic.
Okay.
This is a consequence of having told so many lies over the past. And so today, when there's a need to tell the truth is now difficult to be told. That's the way I look at it.
Yes.
Shatal never died. All these things never happened. Boko Haram was never decimated. It is all lies. And all the travels that our president makes to the U.S., Obama is not a truthful person, is not straightforward. And so we are facing all this. Let us tell the truth to ourselves.
Okay.
Once we start telling ourselves the truth, even we, the ordinary people, will walk along with the government. Now we feel like the government is just betraying us. I feel so much fear. So have a good day, brothers.
And you too, Bia. Thank you for calling. And where I was going then was, do you think the relationship, I mean, the president-elect is going to help us once and for all win this war?
You see, if President Buhari will listen to me, he should stop wasting his time going to meet the Americans asking for their support. What is going to America to ask for? France can give you. Russia can give you. Yes, America has some of the best fighter planes in the world.
Yes.
But Russia has, for every fighter plane, for every class of fighter plane that America has, Russia has something similar.
To match it.
Yes. So why waste your time going after these people? You won the election, you went there. At the end of the day, they lied to us that they were going to sell weapons to us. Shortly after the president arrived in Nigeria, they reminded us of the Leahy law.
Yes.
And they said, no, we won't sell weapons.
Yeah.
We tried to buy from Israel. Even the former administration, Goodluck Jonathan, wanted to buy weapons from the black market.
Yes.
But Nigerians accuse them of keeping money in a plane and trying to steal money. You know, people just say what they do not know. It's our nature, so it doesn't bother me anymore. We try to buy some weapons from Argentina, using third parties to try to buy weapons. America blocked. The T-72 Russian tanks that we use that enable us to win back those territories from Boko Haram before the election, we got from Ukraine. Third party. Because it's not easy to get these weapons quickly like that. No, you place order, you can wait for 4 years before it's delivered to you. This is the way things run. Forget the Americans. Forget them, because America is the capital, the world capital of hypocrisy. Forget them. They will promise you heaven and hell. What did you get? What do you get in the end? I was telling someone before that even Obama as a black man, what did he do for Africa? George W. Bush, in terms of AIDS, not AIDS, aid to Africa, did more than Obama.
As a Republican.
Yet Nigerians wanted to kill themselves about the Democratic Party. Forget these people. Go to Russia. Russia will give you planes that will enable us to win this war.
And it's not as if America was going to give us free of charge, though. So
who's going to pay for it?
You know what one of the soldiers was telling me when I went to Maiduguri? He said, America will give us intelligence. They'll provide intelligence. Oh, these guys are here, these guys are here. But the weapons to take them out, they refuse to sell. So why are you even providing the intelligence?
Don't tell us.
Funny people.
What do you think?
I think it will be a grievous mistake on our part if we think that America can bail us out of this war. I'm also happy with the fact that, you know, they deny this administration, you know, the opportunity of buying weapon, you know, from Brazil the last time. Because the impression people had was that they did it to the Goodluck administration simply because it was Goodluck Jonathan. But they have come out to show that it's not about Goodluck Jonathan, it's about Nigeria. So why do you have to keep going back to the same people? I forgot, I don't know whether Jide will remember, there was this agency that was established somewhere in the north, you know, to manufacture weapons. You know,
Defense Industries Corporation.
Is it Nikon?
Yes, Defense Industries Corporation.
We started the same time with Brazil. Go and find out what Brazil is doing with its own version.
No, we now
compared to what we are doing with
furniture.
We are doing all manner of things there. But today, as we speak, Brazil that started about the same time with us, they now export arms and ammunition, manufacture from that same place. You know, and they are selling it, making money all over the world. And here we are, you know, thinking that America will help us. And Donald Trump has come out clear to say that, look, my own presidency is likely to be about America. There is going to be little or no interference.
They need help
in other people's.
He even said it now.
In other people's affairs. So if we have a president who gave us the impression that, well, I in a way I'm also an African. I'm going to help Africans, and he didn't do anything. Now that you have a president, a new president that has come out to say, look, my own presidency is going to take care about my
John Kerry will come out and be speaking English. Ordinarily selling weapons to us, they can't sell. And when we want to buy those weapons from for second hand, though, from Israel, they will still stop us.
It is our affair, so let us handle it ourselves.
Let's forget America.
And forget about Americans.
Let's forget America.
Okay. Olayinka, thank you so much. And Wahid Bakare, nice having you around also. Wajide Kolade Otitoju, BKO, nice having you around once again. Thank you all for those. Are you upset? Do you know why? Is it because of this?
Americans.
Yeah, it's too early. It's too early, don't worry. That's all on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another exciting episode of a program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Dapo Aruwaje. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria.